So I always like to open the videos with a little quip or a little moment before the actual review begins. Just a little tiny bit of me talking. And if I don't have one in there, it feels a bit weird that there's one missing. But at the same time, I can't always think of one to put in. And it just ends up with me just talking randomly like this. This was a complete waste of time. On with the review.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Starring amongst others Kiki Lane, Stephen James, Coleman Domingo, Tanoia Paris and Michael Beach, directed by Barry Jenkins off of a screenplay that he wrote. This is my review for If Beale Street Could Talk. If Beale Street Could Talk is the story of Clementine, or Tish as she likes to be called, and she's just found out that she is pregnant. At the time she's found out, her boyfriend, Alfonso, has been sent to prison for rape, a crime that she knows without question he didn't commit. He was nowhere near the scene when the rape took place. He is completely innocent. We know that he's innocent. She knows that he's innocent. So this isn't a film where it's about did he do it or did he not. We know from the off that he didn't. This is much more of a personal story and a character-driven story. And it deals with Tish as she tries to navigate her way through life in this complicated phase that she's in. So this is a little bit of an awkward bit. So to get this out of the way, there are certain movies out there, certain types of films that, for whatever reason, I just can't get on with. It's not that I dislike them. It's not that I actively have anything against them. In fact, I admire them in a number of ways. And I'll explain what I mean, because If Beale Street Could Talk is an example of that. So is Moonlight, actually. Same person behind it. But it's the stories that are intently character-driven. And that shouldn't be a bad thing, and it's not a bad thing at all. But it's the ones that kind of forego plot movement in a way. And that's not to say that If Beale Street Could Talk has no plot movement, because it does. It just takes things at a very, very slow pace. And they are the sort of films that I don't enjoy as much as I do with many other films. They're the ones I don't necessarily actively try to avoid because there are good things to take from them. And I'm not saying this is a bad film. I'd be stupid if I did, because it's not. But I say enjoyment level, I got a bit restless in it. I got a bit restless a lot because I admire its style in a way. It uses flashbacks in almost like a dreamlike state to kind of give us a bit of background on the main two characters and how they came to fall in love and be together. And that's great. That is great. Flashbacks are sometimes needed, and this is one of those cases. You're not going to care too much about Alfonso and about Tish if you don't know where these guys have come from and how they've got to where they are. So it is important to have that in there, but at the same time, it's just the way it's done. It feels like it's getting in the way of the story a little. And the story itself isn't moving that quickly either. So it's all just very, very slow. Really slow. And this is just personal preference. There are some people that absolutely love those type of films. And there are some slow movies that I love as well. But there needs to be some kind of, at least times, where the foot gets put on the pedal a little bit and things move forward. This doesn't have that. It's a very, very character-focused film, and I commend it for that. I commend it for a lot of the things that it does, but just for me, on a personal take, not the movies that I enjoy. In saying that, though, I can't say this is a bad film. Performances are great. All of the leads in this one, brilliant. Coleman Domingo, Fear the Walking Dead, love him. Every time I think of Fear the Walking Dead, I get angry because of what they've done to that show. But yeah, he's really, really good. But the main draw here are the two leads, Kiki Lane and Stephen James. The two of them are just very hypnotic in their performances, because the way this is written, as I say, it is slow. It's meant to make these guys feel like real people, and they do. Nothing's overblown, nothing's sensationalised. It's based off a book, and from what I understand, it sticks quite closely to that. It keeps its 70s time frame. But they really make the most of the material that they've been given. They feel like genuine, actual people that we're watching. And the film's all the better for that, because while I don't love every second of it, while it's not something that I was really invested in for the whole time, whenever they were on the screen and whenever they were having sweet moments between the two of them, I cared. I also cared about Alfonso's story as well. Is he going to get out of prison? Will he make it out of there? This is a cruel world, not all the times that he will, and this is, I think it's set in the 70s, and the book was certainly from quite a long time ago, but it's quite upsetting that a lot of the things that this touches on, a lot of the stories and the beats that it hits, a lot of the problems that it highlights are still just as much problems now as they were back then. But yeah, he's brilliant, and the cast, I can't pick any problems with the cast, and it's such a frustrating one, this one, because it's the sort of film that I want to love, but just that pace really stops me from getting there. And it's not that I'm against experimental films either. This story isn't linear. It jumps about so much. Those flashbacks don't feel necessarily much like flashbacks. The movie just chops about all over the place. It's done in a good way. Like, it's not a bad thing. As I say, I keep having to stress the point that this is just preference. This is just the sort of things that I enjoy watching, and this just, isn't one of them, even though I can definitely get behind the things that happen. And it's not a film that I'm going to give a low score to, because it wouldn't really be fair. It's something that I know from the off that isn't for me. It's as simple as that, but I can still appreciate a lot of the things that went on behind it. I can still appreciate how it looks, like the artistic style of it. Say the character moments. All of these characters feel like genuine people, and there's some brilliant dialogue in here as well. There's a scene early on with Alfonso's mother and some of the things she says that's just hideous, but just delivered so well. And there's moments like that scattered throughout, moments of just brilliance. I just wish it had been a story that's just pushed forward a little bit further, just went a little bit further than it did, instead of always just kind of taking its time to get to the next thing, when the next thing isn't that big either. It's slow, it's methodical, but it's not necessarily a bad thing if those are the sort of movies that you like. I feel I'm having to defend myself quite a lot here. Not a bad film, just not for me. I'm going to give If Beale Street Could Talk a 7 out of 10. So yeah, it's a 7 out of 10 that I didn't particularly like myself that much, but I can appreciate the good things about it. And I think I have to be like that sometimes. I can't just be like, I didn't enjoy this movie, therefore it's rubbish. It's not how it works at all. I think that's kind of how we all should be a little bit. If you don't like something, try and find the positives in it as well, because that's what I did here. I think it's an important story as well. I do think it's one that's worth watching, but if the sort of movies that don't go that quickly at all, the ones that feel like they drag a little bit, the ones that really take their time, if those are the sort of movies that you struggle with, I don't think you're going to get much out of this one. Maybe check it out at some point, but certainly don't rush. But if you like those stories, you're probably going to love this, because a lot of people seem to, and I can see why. Have you seen If Beale Street Could Talk? If so, let me know what you think about it in the comments down below, and look out for more reviews coming soon as well. You can follow me on Twitter at JoeJulians. Do hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of them. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.